Good day, everyone. Not sure when you're watching, but the time recording, it's about 24 hours before the gauntlet starts. Maybe just like me, you're still not sure what to play. So I've got a couple of tips and tricks here. Tips and tricks. Because this gauntlet is a lot of fun and there are prizes and bounties. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly go through the rules and the bounties first. I'm going to show you what I'm going to focus on, and then my POB, which will be a Righteous Fire Scavenger. So yeah, let's get into it. The Merciless Gauntlet, it will be very, very hardcore and SSF, so definitely out of my lane. And so in terms of, let's say, the prize pool, I am definitely not good enough to win anything here. I'm not going to win any of this money. A lot of gamers are a lot better than me. But I do enjoy these events a lot. And that's basically because there are also a lot of bounties, right? So first of all, there are random draws that you can see right here if you reach certain levels. But also you can see here at the bottom, there's a bunch of, where is it? Oh, yeah, here. This whole list of bounties, right? For example, the first player to kill at Siri using these unique boots will win 500. And so my goal is not to go for boss kills and points, but my goal is to finish the campaign and see if I can maybe get a bounty, you know? I mean, for example, the player who finds the highest armor royal plate at the end will win $333. That's nice, and it's a fun goal to focus on. So yeah, that's really what I'm going to do. Now, first quickly over how difficult it's going to be. There are the modifiers that are right here. I'll put this link, by the way, in the description. This is based on a Google Doc that was linked below Zizaran's video. So basically what you need to know is the modifiers for the campaign basically make it so that the campaign is going to be the hardest of everything. If you reach maps and you get decent gear, you just can run wide maps, farm up, farm currency, and use that for crafting and other things. And if you just play careful, you're probably going to be fine, but the campaign is going to be the hardest. So basically here in, let's just say, Act 1 to 5, 2 additional projectiles. That's going to be very painful because certain mobs that maybe don't do a lot of damage are now suddenly going to be very painful. For example, those shooter ladies in Act 3 that shoot from their arms. Combine that with elemental penetration, damage, and attack speed or cast speed. That's going to be very dangerous. So you want to play it safe. And then in Act 5 to 10, yeah, obviously you're going to get some damage modifiers. But the big one here is Fizz as extra chaos. I think that's going to mess up a lot of people. And combined with that, all the campaign bosses, they're going to have extra crazy modifiers and events that they haven't revealed yet. But for example, a previous gauntlet we had, I guess the Act 4 boss also had Mavens, I don't know, something from the Maven fight. Very deadly and surprising, so yeah. Definitely want to focus on getting through the campaign and playing it as safe as possible. Now, I already struggle with Uber bosses and normal bosses in softcore, so I'm definitely not going to go for the points. But I made a list here of all the bounties that I think in some form or another, either by sheer just, you know, stubbornness of just farming a lot or getting super lucky, I might have a chance of winning. And there's quite a lot. I mean, I probably will not win anything, but the point is to have fun and have a goal. And so, for example, some fun ones here are like the highest armor royal plate or the syndicate garb with the most evasion, etc. And I just wrote down how, you know, I can possibly try to get these. And there's a bunch in here that I made note of that I'm probably never gonna win, but you know, just in case. But yeah, this was just a fun way to approach the gauntlet for me, because I'm definitely not gonna win, and I'm probably gonna die fighting an Uber or even a normal boss. So, but in that case, there's still bounties for that. So, for example, there's a Cyrus fight here. God, I remember Quinn died recently by not having his auras equipped for Uber Elder, or I think normal Elder. And here, the first player to die to a Cyrus meteor ability with an amethyst flask completely full and not used will win $300. You know, that's fun to consider maybe, you know, when you're near the end, you're definitely not going to win anything else. And nobody has done this yet. So yeah, this is just the way I'm going to approach it. And I think, for example, there's one where you need a harvest card here from, no, a divination card, Lonely Warrior from Estuary. That's a level 77 map. And even though this is a very difficult card to get, if you do get one, and your first one, you get $99, which is fun. And then a full set, you can get this by Harvest Gamba. You never know, you might be lucky one, right? You get a Defiance of Destiny, and actually that is an amazing amulet for the gauntlet. So definitely something you should consider. So anyways, that's the thing about all the bounties. Now, I had a look on what to play, and definitely Ancestral Commander Slammer is going to be the best build in some form or another, at least for most people. Most people are not going to pass the campaign, and the most tanky and decent performing on a budget is going to be the Ancestral Commander. This is some information from Hardcore SSF Frisia, which is sort of the basic version of what we're going to do in this gauntlet, and this is 2-week time shot. And most people either played Ancestral Commander, Scavenger, or Servant of Alikali. Now, for Ancestral Commander, it was some form of Slammer. Scavenger, it's mostly Power Siphon Miner. I do not like Power Siphon Miner or Slammer playstyle. So, what to do? I am a Righteous Fire Andy. It's just the way it is. I like the playstyle. There are amazing guides out there by Pox, and it performs decently well on a budget. I've got a lot of experience with it. This gauntlet is already so difficult that I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and play some build that I've never played. I've never done the Frisia League either, so I'm just going to go with what I know. And the thing is, I'm going to go for bounties, and I want to farm stuff. I don't care about the bosses, so I don't need a top DPS build. I need something that's tanky and can farm properly. Just, you know, maybe farm a lot of maps. And the Scavenger is actually amazing for that, because if we look at the Ascendancies here, the first Ascendancy normal lab is going to be a dud because you get 2 passive skill points, and unfortunately that's not really going to help me during the campaign. But after that, we're going to go for Cloak of Flame, obviously, because this is the most tanky Ascendancy that you can pick from the Scavenger. It's going to help us immensely. And by the way, the build I'm going to play is based a lot on Pox's Righteous Fire and Scavenger, obviously. Just probably a bit more tanky because I don't want to die, right? And it's hardcore. But yeah, you know, he's the GOAT. He's made all the amazing guides on Righteous Fire that most people use. So obviously, I just referred to his wiki, right? You can find all the information here, the FAQ, crafts, everything. Yeah, there's no point in trying to reinvent the wheel because he probably knows better. So if during the gauntlet I'm gonna have questions for myself on like, shit, how craft a certain item, or you know, what about flask setup, I'm just gonna go to his website. And so first for the Ascendancies, we're gonna take the Cloak of Flame, and then in Merciless Lab, we're going to go to the top here, and we're gonna get Obliteration. This basically gives you Explode, so this is amazing for clear, and it deals chaos damage, so that's pretty good. Oh, what am I doing? Oh shit. Oh my, what am I doing? Anyways, oh, there we go. Well, I'm just gonna click that away. So let's go to the POB. All right, so I made my own POB for this because we're gonna start it as a Scion, not as a Chieftain, Juggernaut, or Inquisitor. So don't pay too much attention to all these numbers because I didn't optimize it, right? But this is just a skeleton for a tree. And in terms of, you know, items, I know what I need to go for, which is life resistances, you know, the basics. This is what I'm going to do in Act 1 to 5. So basically, first of all, I'm going to rush this area right? Because I want to transition to Righteous Fire roughly around level 20. And what you need for that is a Fire Mastery with regenerate 1 life per second for each 1% uncapped fire res. This, in combination with crafting fire res on all your gear, will allow you to be able to start Righteous Fire. And I'm probably going to combine that with Poisonous Concoction until it kind of falls off in damage. And then in the meantime, I've leveled Fire Trap on my offhand. And I'm just going to transition to a basic Righteous Fire build. Now, the campaign is going to be more difficult. There's going to be more damage. And the boss is going to be difficult. But the thing is, I have experience with Righteous Fire. I sort of know the game plan. And I'm just going to play it slow and over level a lot. And try to find decent items. And yeah, that's part of the fun, is it? Just take it slow. There's no point in trying to go for like a 6-hour campaign and then die after 5.5 hours because you're being risky. So this is the idea for Act 1 to 5. Just get a bunch of life, basically life regen and resistances. And then when we get to Act 5 to 10, this is the tree that I'm going to go for. And I'm probably not going to go in this direction first. I'm probably going to go here to get some chaos res and life. And definitely going to go to find some amethyst rings and maybe roll a couple of alterations orbs on that to find some chaos res. Because otherwise, with the Fizz's extra chaos, you're definitely going to die. But once again, this is sort of a guideline for myself and maybe other people in order to, you know, play the Righteous Fire style in the Gauntlet. Once again, it's definitely not going to be the best build, but it's something I'm familiar with, and I'd rather have a plan than dive into something new in combination with the Gauntlet mods. If I'm going to struggle, and it's definitely not going to work, my backup's going to be Servant of Arakali, Poison SRS, and I don't have a plan for that, but the beautiful thing is that you can still go to, here you can go to Poe.ninja, and you can just go week 2, and then, you know, instead of Righteous Fire, you just go here and you go Servant of Arakali, and then SRS, and then you just kind of pick, right? You pick something which maybe has a lot of EHP. You can't see any damage here, but, you know, something with a lot of EHP. Just click on that one, right? And just get an idea of how that build might work. So yeah, that's going to be my plan. I am going to go for bounties, and obviously initially, hopefully to survive the campaign first. I got a couple more tips in here. I'll post the POB in the description, but I got a couple general tips on this type of build, right? So you probably just want to mule a couple of times in the beginning to get some shop refreshes, some more wisdom scrolls, maybe some rare items if you're lucky. Probably gonna mule like 5-6 times to get some detailed items, because otherwise you're probably just not even gonna get past the beach. Because yeah, the place where the roas are, the mud flats, are gonna be very dangerous. 2 extra projectiles, and then that guy in the beginning where you get the medicine chest, he's gonna fire these glacial cascades at you. That's gonna be dangerous. So yeah, you definitely want to mule a bit, get some coral rings, and a bit of defense. And, you know, I'm probably gonna start with caustic arrow in the beginning, because I definitely don't want to go melee. And a couple more tips very quickly before I finish off. Decoy totem is going to be amazing for a lot of people. It's very, very valuable in hardcore SSF. And purity of elements, probably never going to take this off, because this gives you easier resistances and, most important, ailment immunity. So yeah, a couple of tips here, a couple of basic trees here, what I'm gonna do in maps. But yeah, you know, this is all work in progress. Just try to get out of the campaign first and play it safe. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're gonna have a lot of fun, and I hope you got some lucky drops. And yeah, who knows, maybe we'll win a bounty. Anyways, that's it. See you later.